Hey everybody, so for today's movie review, and obviously I'm probably going to post a review right after this one as well. I'm going to review the original Mad Max film for you today, um, as preparation to review my Mad Max 4 movie review. But I haven't reviewed the very first Mad Max film. This was the hardest Mad Max film to actually to track down. I actually had to rent this off iTunes, but the other two I was able to luckily find those on DVD somewhere. But this one I had to rent on iTunes just because it's just very difficult to track down right now. So for in the original Mad Max, you guys, basically Max is a police officer. The apocalypse hasn't quite happened yet. This is probably the first and only Mad Max film where there really isn't much of an apocalypse yet. I mean, there technically is, but it's so early in its stages that it's really not the official apocalypse quite yet. Max has a family, he has a wife and a child at home waiting for him. And there's a new criminal in town called Toecutter, who, strangely enough, is also the actor who played this character, played the villain in Mad Max 4, believe it or not, as well. But yeah, he's a character named Toecutter. He has a gang. They like to ride these bikes around and cause trouble. And they keep causing trouble, and they keep causing trouble in different areas in the town. And so it just gets to the point where they become really difficult to track down. And Max and his police officer buddies kind of tell Max to kind of cool off for a little bit, take his family for a vacation, relax with the wife for a little bit. And so, he does that. But unfortunately for him, Toe Cutter's still active with his crimes, and so it gets to the point where Max himself has to take action about it, whether he's on duty or not, thus the title Mad Max. So overall, you guys, I liked the first Mad Max film. I didn't completely fall in love with it like I did with The Road Warrior and what you're about to see in Mad Max 4, but I liked the movie. I thought it was a good, decent movie. I thought the action scenes were well filmed, and I liked how we got to see more of a personal side of Mad Max this time. So for my positives and negatives of the original Mad Max, I liked the Toe Cutter villain quite a bit. I thought he was an interesting villain. He was threatening. He was a challenge for Mad Max. Just a very good villain for a Mad Max movie. And like I just briefly covered a second ago, I liked how there's more of a personal life side to Mad Max. He has a wife and a child at home. We get to see a more talkative side of Max, specifically for Mel Gibson's Mad Max, since he really doesn't have a lot of dialogue in the second and third movie. So I liked how we got to see more of a personal life side of Max before his life really went downhill for the apocalypse, which happened in the following two movies. This is a very high energy movie that I can definitely see where um, George Miller got his inspiration for the energy and the tone for Mad Max 4. Because like that movie, this is a very high energy movie. Just everybody's up and pumped to do stuff, and there's a lot of energy and charisma brought to the characters. So a high energy movie, and it's quite cool to see because of that. The wife and Max have very good chemistry in this movie. Um, I really liked how they really felt like really a believable couple while watching this. There we go. And I really believed the chemistry that they had. You really got the impression that you were really watching this young couple blossoming with their relationship, and if things were really meant to be, things would have worked out. For my negatives of Mad Max the original, I felt like overall was a pretty short movie. And by the time you do get to see Mad Max become Mad Max, there really isn't much of a movie left. There's really only about maybe 25 minutes of the movie left by the time it really becomes a Mad Max movie. So overall, I thought it could have been a little longer. It felt too short of an experience, to be honest. This movie also it's a very slow-moving movie at times as well, uh, particularly when Max isn't on duty, or they're trying to build characters and things like that. And there's really not a lot going on with the Toe Cutter character. They kind of take a break from that in the story. It kind of moves really slowly, and I think that's one thing that might hurt the first Mad Max film compared to the other ones. Overall, I would have liked to see more of an apocalyptic side of the movie. Like I said, even though I know this is the first film in the franchise, they're trying to make the point that the apocalypse really wasn't that big yet. People weren't starving to death quite yet, or oil and gasoline and water were still pretty common to find. Um, and, for, and I know George Miller probably had a budget for the movie too, but to me it just didn't feel quite apocalyptic enough. I don't know if they could have filmed in more rural areas, more desert-like areas to really make it feel like the apocalypse at least was starting to happen. I think I would have liked the setting of the movie a little bit better as well. And overall, I thought the original Mad Max just didn't have enough action. Really, besides the first 20 minutes and the last 25 minutes of the movie, there's a lot of stuff in the movie that really isn't action oriented at all. And it's either Max complaining to somebody at the police officer station, or personal life stuff being built up, or um, you know what I mean, just stuff like that, stuff that really us Mad Max fans really don't really care about. And I understand, and I liked character development myself and storyline development as well. But to me, I felt like there just wasn't enough action in the movie. I left the movie really wanting more action from it. But overall, I do give Mad Max, the original movie from 1979, an 8 out of 10. I think it's a good movie. I think it's a good, solid action movie as well. But I would have liked to see more action with it. I think that's one thing that this Mad Max film didn't have that the other ones did have. So overall, 8 out of 10. Good movie. Not a great movie. I think The Road Warrior is a much better Mel Gibson Mad Max film, and obviously what you'll see here in my Mad Max 4 review, I like that movie quite a bit as well too. So good movie, a good starting point, I guess, for the franchise, but don't walk away knowing that's the best film, because Mad Max 2 and 4 I thought were much better movies. So 8 out of 10, good movie, not the best Mad Max film though.